Hello everyone, I'm Xiaogang. Okay, in this lesson we will build a framework for our blueprint, which is a blueprint node framework. It's pretty much the same actually. We'll write it here. Before writing, let's create the folders we need, because creating it here is quite complicated. How do we do it? We'll do it here. First, we definitely need a folder for the blueprint node. Let's call it exaction. I like to call it action. Then we'll definitely have some types, right? So we'll also have a log, right? Basically, what we need is just things. Then later we have a subsystem. Let's create that as well. This will be used later for width count. We'll just create it here for convenience. Then first, we still create the first node. If we call it xgsimple, let's try to abbreviate it as much as possible. Let's make it an abbreviation because this is too long. Simple. Then let's call it x4. x3, then silent by object. That should be the silent live detection. Yeah. Let's still make this async action a bit longer. Okay. Good. After giving this name, we check it. No spelling errors. There should be no spelling errors. Then under its put also put 1. If there isn't one yet, let's write the others first. That is our log for this log. We shouldn't write it so long. Let's just call it log Sanfei. Okay, good. After the log is done, we need a type. There is also a substance. We set the type. We need to add another folder here. Because this type, we may have many layers. There will be many types then. If they get mixed together, it might not look very good. So here, we'll call it silence biopsy. Okay, and here we need 2 files. If you're busy with these 2 files, I'll add another one. This file will do the same. Let's call it require. And this response type, we can just delete the part after, because our naming needs to follow a standard to make it easy for everyone to read. And also, easy for yourself to read. You ask about what this architecture is like. Then you'll know where each type of file is written. Spear, then type OK. After writing this, then we come back here. Come back here and copy these 4 files together. We haven't written the subsystem yet. We'll write it later when needed. For now, we just need to copy it in. Then here we can change this click to CPP. Change click to CPP. Okay, this one is empty. So these 2 brothers, we open it as CPP. Okay. Okay, now let's refresh the project. Okay. Okay, after we finish refreshing, at this point, it should definitely be compilable. Because we haven't written anything yet, right? Okay, before we officially start, let's first take care of our standard. Program ranges in this include. Let's fix the non-standard progress first. We'll go through them one by one, because we're afraid we might miss something later, or write something wrong. When you've written a bunch of code later, you'll find that in the end, the error was inexplicable. So let's rule out this problem first. Then let's go back to its CPP file. Let's include the same audio. Okay, then we can just paste it here directly. And this step is prone to errors, because when you are including both at the same time, it's normal that these lines won't compile, because we wrapped it in a folder. And when pasting here, it's also easy to paste incorrectly. So making mistakes here is very normal. If you make a mistake and it won't compile, you can patiently try the operation again. Okay, good. This way, it can't find this file. So here in the Build.cs, we need to write something. Okay, so Tenqian in this Build.cs file, in the public path, we need to add a few paths. I'll copy them here first. Let's write them on the side. So here we have, this is a sieve action. And there's nothing under a sieve action. Then this is the type. For this type, we just set it to silent B. SLIENTBIOPSY. Okay, then let's delete these three. Okay. As for subsist, let's write subsist as well. This will mainly make it easier for us later. So let's write it all together now. Next, let's also write this part here. What's the fastest way to write this? Actually, we can just copy this part. After copying it, don't miss this part. We need to add this module. We need to replace this because it looks for, otherwise the path it finds will be incorrect. Right, so we place this module here. Then we note we need to write one more log here, one more log folder. Okay, so that's it, we're done. As for this module of ours, we can add it. Obviously, we need to use this HTTP, right? So we put the HTTP one here. Okay, then as for our roommates, actually, we definitely need to use object. Engine and JSON and such. We put them here. Right, engine, we need to use subsystem. CoreUObject is definitely needed, no doubt about it. As for the others, we don't need to touch them. At this point, we add this one more thing. Why add this thing? Because sometimes we might use some engine vision stuff. Version control, things like that. If you don't add this, will be problems when packaging for Android. It won't find this issue. So we add this thing in. Okay, now let's compile again. We need to make sure it compiles successfully. Good, it compiled successfully, right? We can see the red lines here should all be gone if it hasn't been cancelled. We'll just rebuild the project. First, put it here. Yeah, rebuild the project. We need to make sure this project is working properly before we start writing our code. Okay. Let's come back to our project here. This part went back a bit too much right here. Here, let's come back, okay? So now let's declare this log as well. Declaring the log is quite simple. Same routine as before. Alright, let's change the name here to xcxf. Then in his CPP file, we implement his log. Okay, change this name. Alright, let's stop here for this lesson. We have fully defined our play key. Then we create and refresh this file to generate it. And we made a simple implementation of the log.